All right, guys, we're here among the stones with Chad Clark. So tell us a little about yourself.
Well, obviously, my name is Chad Clark. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. Recently became the vice president of Armlifting USA. Been involved with it since its inception. Honestly, I'm probably involved in way too much stuff. I'll run a lot of Highland games, about 4 of those a year. Help locally with powerlifting meets. The state chair for Virginia for Strongman Corporation. Been involved in Moss wrestling for a number of years. So if it's strength related at some point in time, I've probably been involved in it. And honestly, man, it's been nothing but good times. And that's kind of why I'm here today to talk with y'all. Is I'm just passionate about getting people involved. Before going any further, though, I do want to say one other thing, and that's thank you to you guys. Man, it's people like you that do what you're doing with this podcast and your all your social media stuff. I mean, you can look at it as grassroots or whatever, but to me, it all begins, ends with people just like you. So please know I appreciate what you do. I respect what you do. The other thank you is to all the members of Armlifting USA. An organization is only as good as its members. And we have so many people. Are they amazing athletes? Yes. Are they also amazing people? They're always help us out. Also, yes. And to me, that's the most important part, is I love doing events. I'm very passionate about it. But the biggest part is just meeting so many awesome people and connecting with people. So to all the people involved in Armlifting USA out there, again, just thank you. We sincerely appreciate your support of us over the last 5 years. I know we've had some ups and downs with COVID and whatnot, but just know your membership's appreciated, and we're all working hard behind the scenes to make things grow and grow. So thank you. And again, thank you to you guys first and foremost too. So
absolutely. Thank you. I mean,
Yeah, much appreciated.
That's the thing we notice most too, is just the awesome people, the people that are running Armlifting USA, just yourself and Ricardo, especially. You guys have just always been open, willing to help us, start our own, run our own competitions, and really just help out the Pacific Northwest and really get rolling. I mean, we talked yesterday a little bit, Chad, about our brother that recently passed, and just him being able to Todd Beecraft, that is willing to help us out and come over and judge a competition and help run that Rolling Thunder championship with us and kind of pass the torch on to us so we could keep that tradition going here in Vancouver, Washington area. So we're excited to do that and partner up with Armlifting and just get all the athletes we can behind it and keep going and just have a blast while doing it. So,
I mean, and 2 things from that. One, obviously he passed the torch to the right people, me and you 2 guys. But I'm a little bit older. I'm 50. I grew up being called, well, I would call myself a Milo guy. Like every quarter, I couldn't wait to get that copy of Milo in the mail. It was just like you wait. As soon as that thing came, man, you knew what you were doing that evening after you're done training. You were going to go home, peruse through all the pages, and read it like 30 times that night.
yeah.
And Todd was somebody in his events that was always in there. So it's like I never met the guy. I corresponded back and forth with him a few times, but just seeing what he did in the Pacific Northwest and knowing how many people he touched, I mean, to me, it's impressive, but it's very inspirational. It's like there's pockets of people like Todd all over the place that literally carry their strength sports. One thing I always kind of say is like, the sports of many is often carried on the backs of a few. And, again, it goes back to kudos to guys like Todd, to guys like you, to all these people, all over the USA and all over the world have been hosting like Super Series events or the King Kong events. Any of these other events, it's usually just one or 2 people in each region that kind of keep everything going. So just, kudos to people like that, and that's really people that I really look up to and respect.
Exactly. And, that's one thing we've been able to notice is how easy and how much help there is out hosting events. And, we want more people to host events in different areas and get more people involved as much as we can, because, it's just such a great time to host events and have people from all different, athletic backgrounds come in and try it out and see how they do in a different sport. And it's just an awesome thing you can do while training, while working. You don't have to put, 100 hours a week into something like this. You could actually get a bunch of people together that want to, grow and get stronger. So that's really cool.
Man,
People
absolutely.
from a lot of
And to
different
me,
backgrounds too.
yeah, and it's like when I ran the Super Series events here in Virginia. To me, that's the coolest part of it. Is again, it goes back to the people. Yeah, we have guys that are purely just grip specialists competing.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have people that are climbers, power lifters, strongman athletes, Highland Games athletes. I mean, it's such a cross section. But
Yeah, we have a lot
everybody
of obstacle course racers up
Yeah, we got a
here.
lot of Spartan racers here.
Yeah, and they love it.
Yeah, I've heard that like lots of times. Of people like, oh, I got into grip because I was training for a Spartan race. I need help. I'm like, hey, whatever works for you. We just want you to be a part of this, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
To go off what you said, it's like it really is a sport where everybody can benefit from. I know you have a lot of people on your podcast that have been grip specialists, and I think that's absolutely awesome. What I'm trying to kind of reach out to is to show that, hey, it really is something for everybody. And grip makes, if you're a strength athlete, and that's just my opinion, it can help you make every strength athlete a better athlete.
Yeah.
I would say even ball sport athletes too. I would think
Yeah.
that, there's other athletes like wrestlers, judo, there's
Like,
in addition to just strength sports.
like I always tell people, like if you're doing like jujitsu or things like that, if you go to grab a gi, or an arm bar, an arm lock, hand strength is, I mean, everybody needs more hand strength and better grip, but it's like, if you're a power lifter, how many times you've been in a meet, it's the third round of deadlifts, and you see somebody drop a dead, and that could take them off the podium. It could be PR. But if they had just worked that grip a little bit during that training cycle, would that have happened? Strongman.
Yeah. Farmers walk, especially, man. They're going quick. They don't have the grip. It just slides right out. And then they got to spend all that time picking it back up.
Yeah. Or just like, like forearm strength for doing stones. It doesn't matter if your back says 800 pounds. If your forearm says 300 pounds, that's the biggest stone you're going to lift. So why let something that can be trained so simply be the limiting factor in your lifts?
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. We felt when we first got into this, we started doing strongman lifts before we even started focusing on grip first. And we noticed the wrist strength to do those Atlas stones. Yeah, pretty tremendous.
Yeah, it really helps a lot.
Yeah. Squeeze with them forearms really helps.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what motivates you to compete in strength sports and in grip sport?
Dude, I just love it. That's all I can tell you. I've loved it from the day I started into it. I actually didn't start. I've been competing for 17 years. I was involved for 13 years prior to my first competition, if that makes any sense at all. But that rush being on the platform has never left. I still get that crazy, insane rush, that crazy high, the 100th time or whatever, as I did the first time. It never gets old. And like I said, I may be a little bit different. I've been honestly a lifetime of mediocrity in strength sports, but it's been able to give me a lifetime in strength sports, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I've made so many friends with all this. I've gotten to travel all over the place with it. And we all put values on different things, and I put my value on my experiences, and pretty much all my experiences revolve around some type of strength event. So, it's just, again, I'm 50. I hope I'll be doing this for a whole lot of years still to go, man. It's just something I love.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about that high you get when you compete. Yeah, we're pretty new to this. We've only been competing for a couple of years now, and before competing in strength sports, it always was always weird to me to think that athletes get so many PRs or so many world records in competition, like, and not in training. I thought, oh, if you're comfortable at home, like that's where you should be getting your huge lifts, is when you're like most comfortable. No, totally not. We realized real quick that like we hit some big lifts, like 10% over our in the
Yeah.
gym PRs in competition, just because of the excitement around it. And it's pretty cool to be able to hit some big things. Like the first time I hit closing a number 3 or pinching 235s was in a competition environment,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
So yeah,
first of all,
it's
those are
definitely.
super
And
impressive.
Adam, I think he has this crazy Saxon lift of like about 185 pounds. He hasn't hit since.
Yeah,
And that was like a couple
well,
years, a year ago back in a competition. He was going against Mike Wilfong head to head. And yeah, he
he's
hit
so much bigger. I was
hit
like, I
like
gotta try to keep me to
20
get this
pounds
guy.
more than he ever did in the gym.
Adrenaline's a powerful drug.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's for
absolutely.
sure.
And it's addictive too. It's fun.
And that's the thing, man. It's so addictive. And again, I know I'm kind of going off topic, but all of this has been so good to me. That's why I want to get other people involved in it. Like you guys totally get it. You know, once you compete and you experience that rush, and also it's like, you know, once you're on the platform with people, it'd be a platform or we'll just call it the athletic arena, but you're bonded with people at that point in time. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, and no one else understands, you know, the hours and dedication that you put in other than other people that compete, you know? So it's like, you know, I always tell people like one of my favorite parts of the contest is going out for dinner with all the friends you made afterwards. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
I mean, it should
We've
always be
had
about
food in the middle of every contest we've had.
Yeah,
Pizza's not the best option for grip sport, though. We learned that quick.
Little Bighorn's a little harder with that pizza grip.
With that pizza grease on your hand.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, but I mean, for me, that's some of my best memories are you know, going out after the comp and just hanging out with these new friends you made, just sitting there literally talking for hours over. It may be over pizza, maybe over burgers, you know, maybe over some German food. I mean, who knows? But to me, that's one of the beauty of the things is just the people you meet and you know the friends you make. It's like
Yeah.
you know, again, I know I'm different. You know, you can't take money to the grave, but
Yeah.
with any luck, you can take a lifetime of good memories.
Exactly.
You know, and that's important to me.
And I think in grip sport and strength training, you know, you get a whole different kind of competition. You're not cutthroat competition. You got more of a camaraderie based competition where all the athletes are also cheering you on, hoping that you hit your PRs because they want to beat the best you as well, but they also want to see you do the best.
Yeah, I think that's a big misconception that a lot of people have about strength sports and strength athletes. It's like, you know, when I competed in Highland Games, it was so very similar. It's like, you know, the people you're out there in the field competing with will also be the same ones simultaneously coaching you up, you know, and it's, you know, I just wish people would get that preconceived notion about strength athletes out of their mind. It's like, if you try it, if you go out there, it's like, people will help you. You know, it's like we all want you to become involved in the sport, you know, so that's just one of those old stereotypes I wish would just go by the wayside, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you consider your greatest athletic achievement?
Man, it's a pretty good story. It has nothing really to do with what I would necessarily achieve, but my proudest moment ever was I had a good friend, Nicole Hyam, and anyway, I helped her with Moss wrestling. And at the time, she was going through cancer treatments. And we went, took a group of athletes to Hungary to compete. And that was the first time I'd ever been in charge of a group of athletes going overseas. And so just to be put in charge and care of athletes was just, it meant a lot to me, if that makes sense, that somebody would entrust this team to me. And you know, if you know Nicole, and she's competed grip years ago, she did very, very well. I seriously think of her as the daughter I never had, and I love her like that. But she stopped doing chemo to go on this trip to Hungary.
Wow.
And she was probably not that honest with me about how bad she really was off. But anyway, she was the first athlete I ever coached to podium at something like that. And literally, man, you know, when they put the American flag over her shoulders, I'm a big softy dude. I mean, the tears just started rolling, man, and that was the proudest moment of my athletic career to date. And it had nothing to do with me. And you know what? I'm absolutely good with that because it meant so much to me to see her succeed. I knew how bad she wanted. And the best part of the story is, she beat cancer.
Awesome.
So that made it even better.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's actually brings up another point I was going to make earlier, talking about like newbies getting into competing and, the highs you get and how you feel about it. I feel like, man, competition motivates you to kick ass in other areas of life too. You kick ass at a strength sport or you do well in a competition, you get some big PRs. The next day you want to kick butt at your job and you just want to rolls forward. And I think that just helps tremendously in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
Absolutely, man. It changes lives, and it changes lives for the better. I mean, again, my early 20s and stuff like that, I was always like a handler for my friends at meets or the liftoff guy, or we do like team tug of war things and stuff like that. It wasn't until I was 33 that I did my first, sanctioned powerlifting meet. And to this day, I regret I didn't do it sooner because all the positives that came from that. And like I said, man, it just really empowers you. And the longer you're involved in strength sports, the more you see how it affects other people once they get in. You have a community that embraces them and supports them fully. And once they feel that love and support, again, it's just so empowering. And then you see it's oftentimes like something just goes off in their head, like it clicks.
Yeah.
And so many things change about them.
I mean, I think just to piggyback off what you guys both said, people beat themselves up all the time and they get into a strength sport where everybody's cheering them on, they're hitting PRs, they get a confidence boost about them. It transitions into every aspect of their life and they, finally feel like maybe they're worthy, maybe they belong somewhere, maybe they can do something and they actually start, achieving in all aspects of life. And they might not have never done that before because they didn't have the belief in themselves.
Yeah. I mean, again, and you see it when you've been around a long time, you see it time after time. I had a girl that helped in powerlifting, and again, it was one of the reasons why I love what I do so much. I helped her through 4 meets, and also you never know what goes on in people's lives or what goes on behind the scenes or certain things. But about the 3rd meet, I was helping her. The first 2, I was just kind of there as a spotter and whatnot, and lift off person. And then the more we talked, I was like, listen, I was like, I believe in you. I was like, you can do this. It's like, I would not be here if I did not believe fully in you. And honestly, man, I think that her hearing that was like a light going off in her head. It's like, I don't think anybody ever really told her that before. Like, that they believed in her and that they fully support her. And she went on to set, I think she went 8 out of 9 that day and hit multiple lifetime PRs. And then she followed that a couple months later in another meet and did the exact same thing. And that last meet that we did together, her mom came down from up north and was like, man, my daughter has changed so much. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, it just meant the world to me to hear that,
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, we got to ask, what's your greatest blunder and or injury?
Oh, wow. Well, greatest blunder, I think I've told you a million times already, is I didn't start competing until 33. That's my biggest regret. Biggest blunder, also is just being young and stupid, ego lifting. I remember one time.
We've done that.
Yeah,
Well, I was high school.
Yeah, I was in a group of guys who were all pulling from the rack on deads that day, and I felt my back go, but I was like, all right, I'm still gonna complete the set. I should have just called it a day, and that derailed me for a pretty long time. So, but I always tell people now, it's like, if it hurts, cut it.
Listen to your body.
Listen to your body. Trust me, it'll thank you later, multiple times down the road. And also, don't get caught up in numbers. You can only do what you can do. Everybody tries to post highlight reels on social media, and the real world, says you honestly, you can't PR every single day.
Yeah, there's a lot more failures in the real world
Yeah, there
than
are.
what you see on Instagram.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, but don't get caught up in stuff like that. It's like, you do you. And,
Exactly.
I've been, and like I said, I've been fortunate for years. I've had a lot of friends who went pro in multiple sports, and I'm super proud of them. But I've always noticed, like, hey, that is so awesome. I'm so proud of them. But at the end of the day, I can only do me.
Yeah.
I can only control, what I do. So,
Yeah, especially, for the young guys, you might be doing leg day for 3 hours and then forget your gym's upstairs and you got to walk downstairs in front of all the ladies and your leg gives out and you fall down the stairs.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
crap. That's right. We were upstairs working out. That's a bad idea.
Bad time for both quads to cramp.
Yeah. Realize that, you're an elite athlete in your mind, but you have the body of a bench warmer. It happens.
Yeah, it was horrible when they put the new gym in our high school up like 3 flights of stairs. That was just a bad decision. I don't know why they did that.
Can I take the elevator, please?
Yeah, that is a bad decision.
So, what's one of your current major athletic goals?
Oh man, dude, I'm unfortunately it's not very grip related, but it does, grip forearm strength does come in definitely in hand, so to speak, with it. I love stone lifting, and I guess prior to COVID, I guess in 18 and 19, I went over to Scotland to do stone lifting, and I just absolutely loved it. And I'm just dying to get back over there. So hopefully this spring, if the budget will allow it, and we don't have any more lockdowns or anything like that, I really just want to go back to Scotland and lift stones again.
Awesome.
It's just a rush, totally different. I mean, most times, you're in the middle of a field by yourself. There's no cheering crowds or screaming people or anything like that. It's just, but you just know that you're doing something that people have done for literally hundreds and hundreds of years, and you're touching history. And I've always been very respectful and cognizant of the fact that it is history. So whenever, if anybody else listen to this goes over to Scotland, please treat the stones with the utmost respect.
Absolutely.
If you shoulder them, don't drop it. I mean, it's living history is what it is. So respect it as such.
Yeah, I mean, we even have the Timberline stone up here on Mount Hood that we all rallied up to go lift and have fun in the 30-degree weather out there, and drove up through snow just to find this thing and lift it. And
it's like our only stone of strength up here, but we got one.
Hey, like I said, I mean,
It's on a mountain.
Stone lifting is so cool. It is so fun, and it's very primal. And if you like things like that, I mean, once you do it, there's just nothing else like it.
Yeah, it's a fun puzzle because it weighs different on each side and there's different handles and you just don't know where the heck you're going to have to grab or how to do it. So it's a good puzzle to figure out too.
It really is a puzzle, and each one's different, so good analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got about 40 of them here at the house now.
I always watch that guy from Canada lifting the stones in his gym.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I probably got about 20 out here in my driveway right now.
Yeah.
So
we have about that many, I think, in our rock garden too. They're all kinds of different.
Oh, we have close to 40 now, dude. It's crazy. We have 28 of them claimed already with names on them. Like people, they have to either lift them if they're above 250 pounds, they have to lift them up just triple extension. But if they're an under 250-pound stone, they have to pick it up and carry it over 180 feet without dropping it.
Wow.
In order to claim it in their name. So yeah, we have a bunch of stones claimed in people's names out there. It's pretty cool. But we live in like in an area where there's a lot of rocks in the ground because it's a big dried up river.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Easy access to stones around here.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of that. So very nice.
We got to find a 400-pounder. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, no.
Have one.
No, I can't lift anything close to that. That would be for some of the guys coming over and visiting some of those monsters. Yeah,
I'm that big for those guys.
Well, we started doing stone lifting. We should note we never considered using tacky or or any sort of like guards on our forearms.
Yeah.
So we just went like straight up to 300-pound Atlas stone. Like I think we both hit the 265 and got the 300 off the ground before we started even considering using tacky or doing stone sleeves or anything. So
People are like, "Do you guys just lift them?"
that was pretty
like,
good.
no
Like we found out
sleeves?
that was actually
Yeah,
a
how
good
else are you
challenge.
supposed to do it? Right,
Yeah,
you can put sticky stuff on to help it. I'm like, isn't that cheating?
Yeah, when we first started using tacky, we said, "Oh man, this is great."
Oh, this is easy.
Yeah, it changes everything.
Yeah, that's for sure. So let's see. So what are some lifestyle habits that you subscribe to that you think would benefit the average person trying to get healthy and fit?
Oh man. I'm not the person to talk about healthy lifestyle. I eat a lot of garbage.
Just train harder.
Train hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I go to Scotland, I'll probably live off of, this is no lie, like Cokes and meat pies. So that's kind of my diet subscription there.
Nice.
Get that protein. You know, there you
That's
go.
right. Feed them muscles.
Exactly. So there you go. Good tips.
So in your many years of training, what abnormal techniques have you stumbled on that might be considered unconventional that has dramatically changed the way you train or have helped you out where you wouldn't expect it to?
Man, that's a good and tough question. I don't really know how to address that. I'll just say, like, you know, over the years, you know, I've always tried to read, especially like early on, as many books and things like that as I could on training. And you know, I was fortunate. I live about 2 hours away from Wake Forest University, and the coach down there, Ethan Reeve. I'm not even sure if he's still the coach down there, but he was one of the head strength coaches. Super cool guy. And every year for literally about probably over a decade, he would have these awesome strength coaches clinics. And I've never been a strength coach or anything like that, but it was open to anybody that was basically a strength junkie. So I'd always go. And he kind of specialized in football coaches or strength coaches that specialize in the football teams. And he had Mike Gentry there one year. And Mike Gentry was the head strength coach at Virginia Tech for a very long time. He really helped the rise of the program. And one of the coolest things, you know, sitting in this clinic, somebody asked him, they said, well, and Mike had just got through talking about something. He's like, well, you know, are you an Olympic lifting school? He's like, yes. We're also a powerlifting school. We're also a strongman school. We're also a bodybuilding school. And he lists off all these things. And basically, in a nutshell, what he's saying was, in training, everything has its place. He's like, you know, you take what works and you put in your toolbox. If it doesn't work, you throw it out of your toolbox. And, you know, and he was right. I mean, everything does have a place in your training. So people say, well, I only do this, you know, you're really selling yourself short when it comes to your benefits. The other thing I'd say is, you know, there's so much takeaways every time I've ever went to like a clinic or read something or watched videos. I just kind of call it like nuggets of wisdom. You know, it's like you're always learning. It's always like grasping like one little idea. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, how long you've been involved in this stuff, you never stop learning, and you never stop meeting people with different ideas. It's like pretty much every time I travel somewhere or meet other people, like, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, hey, I like this. That worked for them. So I can't really put my finger on one thing. I would say the one thing to be successful is just keep an open mind and just figure out what works for you. You know, again, I've seen been to a lot of seminars over the years. And one thing from most successful people I've seen give presentations, the one thing they all had in common was just that they took bits and pieces from all the people that may have mentored them and they kind of meshed into their own program and design. So,
Yeah, I think that's actually really, really good advice about keeping an open mind.
Yeah.
That it almost reminds me a little bit, and I won't mention the name of the person, but there was a person that was pretty strong that came over and worked out with us that could deadlift much more than us and squat much more than us, but struggled to carry a rock that weighed like 140 pounds. And we, at the time, Adam and I were carrying like 200-pound stones, no problem, you know, because we were messing with them on a regular basis. We were doing odd, weird training, like the strongman style training. but we couldn't get in that position to deadlift or squat anywhere near as close to this person that was working with us. It was a power lifter. So it was just really neat to see like how much specialized training takes you away from being able to do some other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely what you said about I want to do this definitely inhibits your ability to build like, I don't know, overall functional strength or just a good overall strength foundation.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, I don't even really know how to word this. I respect all different types of strength. Just like what you said, that guy was probably insanely statically strong.
Oh yeah, in those positions, unbelievable. To make me look like a joke. Like unbelievably strong in those positions.
But again, but probably couldn't move. Probably all very, very static strong, but couldn't move with weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like my friends who do climbing and stuff. I watch their videos and literally I'm just in awe. Are they big deadlifters or big pressers? No, but their strength is absolutely amazing.
Their strength is absurd.
Yeah, or the people that can just sit there and like knock out millions of pull-ups and stuff. I mean, I just respect strength in all forms and all levels.
Awesome.
It's always fascinated me. Again, I think part of that goes back to starting out reading Milo's. You had the arm wrestling articles, you had the Basque stone lifters, you had all these different things that were influencing you kind of subconsciously. That makes sense. And they're all different strengths. But if you're a strength junkie, I think you learn to find the beauty and respect and admiration for all those types of strengths.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, like you said, I mean, when you see grip specialists, I mean, I have some friends like they're doing like all these crazy inch transfers and blobs, and it's just like it's just mind blowing. It's like I love seeing it. Can I do it? No, but
yeah,
but that doesn't mean I don't have the utmost respect and admiration for people who do. It's just an insane special strength that they've trained for and were very successful at.
It's like
that's how I feel about some steel benders, man.
Or watching Adam Glass do the inch transfers like it's nothing. And like, I'm looking at you and you're about the same size as me, bro. But I'm not getting close to picking that thing up.
Yep.
And like I said, man, that's amazing. What you said, with the steel bending, absolutely amazing. I love seeing all that type of stuff. I mean, strength in all shapes and forms, just to me, it'll always be just amazing. And I love watching it.
So other than starting earlier, if you could start your training over now with what the knowledge you have today, what would you do different and why?
Oh man, the one thing, everybody kind of has their own philosophies and theories on things. It's like, to me, everything should be built around your back. It's like, hey, more back work. I would have done tons and tons more back work early on. Lots of heavy rows. I would have done lots more rear delt type work to get my shoulders healthy from an earlier age, just things like that. When I started out, I guess I was just your atypical gym bro and didn't really train my back the way I should, didn't really feel it right. And then at some point the switch went off and I was like, oh my God, all the benefits of doing more back work. It's like, you want a better squat to bar position, build up your rear delts and traps to put a better shelf back there for it.
Yeah.
Want a better bench, do more back work. I mean, it just helps everything. The same way with grip helps everything as far as strength athlete goes, in my opinion. So does more back work.
Yeah, it's one of those gym bros that can, I just wanted to bench a lot and have big arms. So that's what I did. I was benched and did bicep curls. And I'm out there 18 years old, about 175 pounds, benching 350. And I can't even deadlift 350. I'm like, what in the world? So I feel you there. Definitely needed more back work.
I mean, everybody needs more back work. And also it's like, it's such a great barometer of like true strength and stuff. You can't fake a strong back.
Yeah, Ricardo's been coaching me on grippers, and days I'm not doing grippers, he actually has me doing a lot of back work.
Yeah.
A lot of trap work, a lot of back work.
I think that's what's going to help my axle go up more, is to get more back work in, because that's where I'm still weak at.
Upper body stronger, so you can put more emphasis into it.
Real quick, and I don't know if this topic I should go over or not, but you know, you mentioned Ricardo, and obviously, you know, he's the president of Armlifting USA, and someone I work with and talk with almost a daily basis. And you know, I've never been able to understand people that aren't passionate. So I hope people understand how passionate Ricardo is about grip, you know, and how much he wants Armlifting USA to take off, but for all the right reasons, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, he's passionate about the same things the same way I am. It's just like we want to get people involved, you know. So really, you know, it's an honor being to work with him and to partner up to kind of share that vision, because it's like at the end of the day, again, we just want to get people involved into grip sport, you know. And again, you know, as I told you, the way I see it is, you know, it's not necessarily the grip specialists that I want to attract into it. I want to attract everybody else, you know, the power lifters, the strongman athletes, the Highland Games people, the climbers. But, you know, kudos to Ricardo for his passion and for his motivation for doing this and trying to really grow Armlifting USA. It's, you know, I know a lot of people don't see behind the scenes, but some of these people that we work with are so very passionate. And again, you know, it's for the right reasons. It's like, you know, wanting to grow the sport, you know, wanting to put the spotlight on all these great athletes and stuff. So,
Yeah.
You know, you know, I'm very proud with who I work with. So that's kind of my way of saying thank you to Ricardo.
I mean, speaking of Ricardo, you know, he flew up here. He was up in Vancouver visiting some friends and whatnot, and he took the time to say, "Hey, I know you guys are only a few minutes away. I'm going to come and hang out and work out with you guys in your home gym, and we'll just come hang out and work out for an hour and a half." And I mean, you don't get that very often. That, you know, the president of Armlifting's like, "Yeah, let me come work out and just hang out with you guys and see what it's all about."
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like if you're privy to like emails and stuff, you would see it's like people reach out to us, and we always try to do our best. Like, hey, here's our phone number. You know, if you're on the West Coast or whatever, trying to do some, call Ricardo. If you're on the East Coast, call me. You know, but again, it goes back to really just trying to grow the sport and get people involved and being passionate about it. And excuse me, you know, like I said, we just want to get more people involved. But if you reach out, we're always be there to help you out.
Yeah.
That's so on that token, what would you suggest to an athlete that wants to get involved in grip sports, that have never done grip training or grip in general? What steps should they take? How should people get involved with grip sport and grip training and getting into maybe potentially doing a competition or something?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Social media is such a powerful tool. You know, usually if somebody reaches out to me, I say, okay, well, where are you located at? So then I go for, hey, who do I know in that region? You know, again, it's a powerful tool and can help so many people tremendously when it's used correctly. So the first thing I say be, you know, reach out to somebody like me or Ricardo. Let us help you connect the dots for you. If it's one thing I've been good at over the years, it's connecting the dots. You know, you don't have to have a lot of stuff to get started out. You know, I mean, I remember years and years ago, just, you know, pinching dimes and quarters and stuff at the old YMCA, you know. I was like, wow, this is fun. That was what we did at the end of every workout. We always did some credial grip stuff. You know, we didn't really know too much about grip sport, but we knew it was fun to do, you know. So it's something that's very simple for people to get involved in. It's not very expensive. Most all gyms now have some type of axle. Yeah. The like fat grips and things like that. They're cheap, they're easy, you know, slap it on a dumbbell. You know, there's so many things that you can train for your grip that don't really take a lot of monetary investment. So that's one of the other beauties of it.
Yeah, and we got into grip sport. I mean, we didn't go out and buy all the, you know, certified implements at first. We built a lot of the stuff at home and figured out different ways. And I mean, that trains pretty well for just being able to do DIY stuff at first if you need to, if you can't afford some of the other equipment, and you have a blast with it too, you know, just some
like
pinch blocks and
eye bolt in a 4x4.
Yeah, eye bolt in a 4x4, finding, you know, the right size pop can or something like that, and filling it with concrete so you can make a little bighorn or something like that.
You know, and that's genius about the little bighorn with the pop can. But you know, I mean, and that's the cool thing is, you know, I've always been a big fan of DIY. You know, believe it or not, years and years ago, I was a sponsored skateboarder. So, you know,
That is kind of
growing,
hard to believe.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you do a kickflip today.
That's a big man on a skateboard.
that was a lot of years ago. But but growing up as a skateboarder and growing up, skate, a typical day during the summer, like skate all day, go to a hardcore punk show at night. And DIY was really what was both things were all about. So it's like that's another thing I like about string sports. It's like, if you want it bad enough, you can create it yourself. Like I said, be it implements or things like that, or running events. If you don't have events in your area, honestly, one of the beauties about Armlifting USA is the membership fee is cheap. $20. Sanctioning fees are cheap. I think the entry level is $50. It's very affordable. If you reach out to someone like me, I can tell you how to, me or Ricardo, we can tell you, hey, here's what you need to do to run a contest. Trust me, I've talked tons of people through it over the years. And that's kind of what we've seen. A lot of people just create their own groups or their own events and stuff. So I totally love the whole DIY thing, like what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So is a tough one. What do you think is the most important piece in your home gym and why?
Oh, wow. My deadlift platform, because I do so much on it, including, axle pulls, deadlifts. I don't know, man. I just be lost out my platform. That's kind of where so much stuff ends up typically. So either that or the squat rack.
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I mean, you need, we all need stronger grips. But I think for some people, there comes that limiting factor. Like if you don't have the horsepower in your legs and back, then you create a lower ceiling for your grip, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you could raise your base general strength levels up higher, then in time your grip will just continue to climb. Whereas if you don't, you kind of create, like in my opinion at least, you limit that ceiling of opportunity for your grip.
Yeah, I agree. That's I think part of why Ricardo got me doing more body work training as I started to plateau on the 2.5. And since then I've just been smashing the 129 a lot easier. So it's definitely made a difference.
Yeah, or I could also easily say that the most important piece of equipment in my garage gym is the stereo.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I'm also a music junkie, so I always have to have the music blaring and stuff. So,
what are you listening to in the gym typically?
My all-time favorite band is Motorhead.
Nice.
Everybody that knows me knows I'm crazy about Motorhead. From 13 to over 50, it's always been my favorite. I love the sound. I love the band's attitude, everything about them, man. So just Motorhead for life, road crew.
Perfect. So we're really excited to see you and Ricardo really taking up Armlifting USA and being vice president and president and kicking butt. We're really excited to see, how much we can grow the sport with you guys and see where it goes. And we're seeing just some monumental shifts, even at, the Arnold with bigger stages, more people, and it's just going to be fantastic. Do you want to touch on anything on that or what your plans are in the next couple of years or what we expect to see?
Dude, we're just
what
excited.
athletes does he think are going to be doing some big things in the next few years? That too.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, we did the Arnold, last year. We did the open registration on the Sunday, and the caliber of competition was unreal. It's like, where do all these monsters come from? And a lot of them they were new. They just jumped in, or like, hey, well, I've been doing this. This looks like something fun. Maybe I'll jump in. And then the next thing you know, you see him doing like 400 pounds on the double overhand on the axle.
Yeah.
Like, your mind's blown. But we're excited about the open. I'm super excited. I know Ricardo's too for the open registration on the Sunday at the Arnold. Just giving other people an opportunity to compete at the Arnold because it is special. It is the Arnold, and that gives them opportunity to be out there on the big stage in front of everybody. And for a lot of people, that's a dream come true. It's very prestigious. It's something that very, again, it's to say, hey, you compete at the Arnold, not a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I think it was-
oh,
I was going to
Go
say,
ahead.
speaking of monsters, we've seen a couple come over here and just absolutely smash some things, and it's just amazing. Like watching Gabby come over here and for the first time doing grip sport and just absolutely crushing some of these implements, just mind blowing.
And then going and doing the Hercules hold and beating Martine's Lisa's on it.
Yeah.
That was insane.
And that's the thing, man. It's like at the end of the day, I'll always just be a fan of all this, if that makes sense. I love watching it again. I respect all the different strengths. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Saturday portion. And that is, it's just going to be epic. That's all I can say. It's Carl Myers Co.
Yeah.
And we have a very stacked class of super heavies. And we have another guy, Luke Reynolds, that's coming over from Australia. And Luke's, that name may not be too familiar now, but trust me, after the Arnold, it will be. If there was ever an epic battle for the ages, I would say that's going to be it, because both guys have pulled well over 500 overhand on the axles.
Jeez.
Ooh.
So to see one person do it, I remember that I was fortunate to judge Carl a couple times on his world records, and my mind was just blown. It was just absolutely amazing to see the poundages that man lifts. And again, kudos to Carl. He is just amazing. He's an amazing lifter. He's also an absolutely amazing person. And also that plays in huge into it. Luke is the same way.
He's randomly giving me advice on gripper placement. Just randomly jumped in and said, hey, if you shift that a little bit, you'll probably get that gripper close. I'm like, oh, cool.
Exactly. A genuinely great person and very humble.
Yeah.
To see one person lift those numbers was mind blowing. To potentially see another person come over that's also pulled over 520 on an axle is
insane.
It's just gonna be something special to see.
That's gonna be cool. Yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to get Gabby to do more grips so she could make that super heavyweight women's just an exciting competition between the two as well.
That would be cool to see Gabby and Sarah go at it. And that would be awesome.
And to touch on that, first and foremost, I'm a huge fan of the female athlete. And I would really urge anybody out there, hey, please help us recruit ladies.
Yes.
And again, it goes back to, if you compete in grip or you're training grip, it's going to make you better in every sport. So if you have friends or female powerlifters or strongmen or things like that, try to recruit them into doing this as well. Also, you could be midway through whatever training cycle you're doing. Say you're prepping for a powerlifting meet. Seriously, doing a grip comp is not going to derail your training.
Yeah, not at all.
Exactly.
It's only going to add to it. So it's like, hey, we just want to get women involved. At the end of the day, it's like, look, I'm glad we have all these male athletes. That's awesome. What I would love to see is just more women getting involved. More Sarah Chapelos, more Gabbies, more Christine Bangma. We want more female athletes, period. And again,
we had Tammy competed our last one.
Yeah, Tammy came over, and that was insane to watch her too.
And it just goes back to what
we
we're
had a
talking
couple
about.
events.
Yeah, awesome. But it goes back to what we're talking about earlier. Like, it changes lives and empowers people.
Does.
And with female athletes, I love it when that light clicks and like, oh wow, and you see their whole attitude, demeanor change for a positive. So, but that's one of the goals. I really hope we can get more female athletes involved in Armlifting. So we have
I also like the kids division aspect too, that we started to see some of these kids come out, and they compete harder than some of the adults. It's crazy watching these kids go at it and just have a blast doing it too.
Oh, I've seen some unreal teenagers with just unreal grips. So it's like, hopefully, we can kind of push that in as well. But like I said, it really should be a sport for everybody. You know. And the other thing is too, it's like, if you're a competitive strength athlete, another one of the beautiful things about grip is you can keep on competing years and years. An athlete short is, or how to put this, you have a small window of opportunity to compete at very high levels in certain sports, like powerlifting or strongman or whatever.
Yeah.
But with, say your powerlifting days are done, but you still have that bug to compete.
Grip sport.
Grip sport is perfect.
Yeah, we saw Ode Haugen competing against Yvonne Shook in the same class last year.
You're
A 19-year-old and a 72-year-old going at it. What other sports do you see that where it's an even playing field against those two ages?
Yeah, but Ode's.
Oh,
what do you say?
Ode's pretty
What do
special.
you say about Ode? I mean, Ode is Ode. Ode's timeless and will never get old. And that's just Ode. That's just what he does. So, but you're right though. But it's like, I mean, there's such a long window of opportunity to compete in that.
15 years, Mark Felix will be doing the same thing.
Yeah,
exactly. But I really hope that when people, say, all right, well, I'm done with strongman, I'm done with powerlifting. I hope they look at grip as an opportunity to continue competing. Continue to get that rush out there on the platform.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're trying to get the kids involved too, to add accessorial work to them. Like my kids both are martial artists and do a little bit of jiu-jitsu and stuff. And I'm like, if you train your grip, you're going to grab on somebody's gi and they're not going to know what to do because, you're 12 and you just grab them and they can't escape. And they're like, what is going on? Or my 9-year-old daughter can out grab these girls and it's like they can't escape and they're 11 and 12. And she's like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, again, the benefits are limitless, for martial artists, for people involved in law enforcement, for firemen, baseball players.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can benefit from a stronger grip, so hopefully that's, over the upcoming years, hopefully that's what we'll be able to attract is people from all these other sports and pull them into what we're trying to do.
And I mean, once they get involved, they see how much fun it is and then they get the bug and they're like, wow, grip sport's actually really cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just getting to try that first comp. If you can get to that, then usually, again, the atmosphere is very addictive.
But yeah, it's you just barely touched on it, but you mentioned law enforcement, and it's something we don't want to, have to think about very much, but being able to hold on to your weapon just a little bit better, being able to get your groupings a little bit tighter, just being able to control the situation a little better when your hands are so important in a fight or flight situation.
Yeah, I actually had my brother-in-law is a longtime law enforcement SWAT officer, and it was interesting to see how good his grip was without him knowing it from all the years of training and doing SWAT and
training, weapons training, and
just
doing gun training.
it.
His grip was actually pretty stout. He could hub a 45 first day he came over to train grip with us. That was pretty cool to see. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So I guess that's pretty much, we've come to the end of our questions. If there's any questions you have for us or anything else you want to say, here's some time to do it.
Man, again, it goes back to one of the first things I said. I just want to thank you guys for having me on, but more importantly, just for being y'all and doing what you do and helping everybody just get the word out about grip and these amazing athletes. Like I said, while I went through your podcast list, there's so many names of people that I knew or friends with, or other people I know that really enjoy your podcast. So just thank you for you guys. You're the best advertising we could have ever asked for. And again, it's just all about getting people involved, and like so also, thank you to all the members of Armlifting USA for your support. Just know we're really working hard to continue to grow things and make everything better for you. People always reach out to me if you ever have any questions about running events or how to become more involved in Armlifting USA. I'm always glad to help. And also, if you have friends that are kick-ass female athletes or just any female strength athletes, please try to get them involved. We really want that. We want to increase the numbers of the females competing, at the Arlington stuff. So
awesome. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, if I give anybody else one last piece of advice is just go out, compete, have fun, travel, make friends. It's something you will never regret. There's a million positives in it, and I may have had a few injuries here or there where there were negatives, but for the most part, everything's been positive. And again, if I'm passionate, it's just because I want people to share the same amazing experiences that I've had.
Absolutely. We 100% agree with if you want to travel, go travel. We were lucky enough to be invited down to Texas and hang out with that Central Texas crew. That's absolutely just unheard of and just phenomenal at gripsport. And, we loved every minute of it. Being a Cowboys fan, I got to go tour, Dallas Stadium. And I don't think I would have done that. And it's like, we went down to the F1 racing and we hung out with Adam for a couple of days. And it's just absolute blast to get involved with all those guys having fun, just enjoying it. And I mean, if anybody or anybody's asking in the Pacific Northwest, we're always happy to have them come over, work out with them. Anybody, within 2, 3, 4 hours, we're more than happy to say, come over. Our gym's always open. We'll help as much as we can.
I think that once people get involved, I think, if they've never been involved before, once they do, I just think that they'll realize like, wow, just being involved opens up so many doors and so many opportunities. And again, I've had a million great times because of all this. And, doors still continue open. I'm always meeting new people or getting invites and making new friends. It's like, again, I just want the same thing for others.
Yeah. And I know there's competition we can't talk about that's up north that we might travel to. So we're excited to see that international competition. If it's as close as I think it might be to us, we might have to run up there just to have that experience and have fun and check it out for sure.
I've been to other events at that event without saying what event it is. And I love it up there. I love Canada, period. I have a great time. The time I went up there, the stereotypes are true. They really are like the friendliest people in the world.
Yeah.
And I just hope it all comes to fruition. And Ricardo will be running that one, and I'm scheduled to be in Norway at that time. So I'm which I've never been there, so I'm super excited for that. So again,
Awesome.
It's just it all goes back to just getting involved. I mean, growing up, I never dreamed I'd be one day, oh well, I'll go to Norway. It's just dreams really do come true.
Yeah.
Well, since we've been running this contest, we've watched a lot of people get personal records, but we've watched one athlete in particular get some numbers that, were up in the top 10, sometimes even the top 5. And we hoped that, that athlete in particular would find good opportunities. And it turns out she actually did. And that's Brittany Walling. And it's pretty awesome that in gripsport, if you're a female athlete, you can expect there to be just as great opportunities for you to travel and go to the big competitions as there are for male athletes. And that's not always the case in all sports. And she got to go and she got to meet some, legends of strength that really it was really cool for her to meet because she's followed those, and her husband, who's really involved in strength sports and has been all of his life, got to meet some legends because she was invited to do the world championship. And I just want to say that, it's really cool that Armlifting USA gives those opportunities for the female athletes. So that's more reason for female athletes to get involved. Don't think that you'll be second tier in this sport to the males. You won't. You'll get just as much attention. You'll be on just as big a stage.
And that's what we want. We want those female athletes. Again, it's like they're the future of sport. It's the two fastest growing classes out there in strength sports, in my opinion, are the women's side of things and the master side of things. So, and we had a guy at the Arnold this past year, Jay Lee Hilton. He's from down in Georgia. Super good guy. Talked to him a ton. He never competed before. He grew up working on a farm in Georgia. And this guy just kicked ass at the Arnold. I loved watching every minute. It was like, and he was out there competing with his son, which made it even better. Talk about cool. Father-son bonding moment. But it was amazing to see. This guy was a great grip athlete. He's like, oh, this is so much fun. You could just see the joy on his face.
Farm strength is no joke.
Yeah, it is.
No joke at all, man. Those guys are. Again, it goes back to all types of different strengths, man.
Yeah. Well, right on. Thanks for joining us tonight. We
man,
appreciate you chatting with us, and we're looking forward to everything that's coming next year for Armlifting USA and what's coming up. We're excited.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you for all that you guys do.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right. Later, buddy.
Thanks, Chad. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.